The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Hey everybody, it's Casey with Pinecase. We're hanging out with Aubrey today, aka Obnoxious, aka the mood setter, aka like bringing all the vibes to everywhere you go. Like, welcome to Pinecase, my friend.
Hey, thank you. That's a beautiful introduction.
Oh man,
appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Like, the thing is, you've absolutely earned it. And like I was saying 2 seconds ago, like, you know, I get spoiled with music all the time. I get all the, you know, sometimes we get the demos before they kind of hit and all that stuff. And I feel really privileged that way.
Right.
But every so often somebody like you comes through and I'm like, holy shit. Like,
thank you.
Yeah. How did you end up like where you're at? Because obviously there was like a little bit of a road to get there, but like just to start straighten with the type of music that you make, because it's, I don't want to say unconventional, but it's not something that everybody's doing.
Yeah.
You know?
So like typically, I think I started listening to rap when I was about like 9 years old. And then I started writing when I was about 11, 12.
Damn.
So I've kind of been doing it for a long time. But I feel like where it really started making sense for me when I was about 15, 16, and I kind of started like going through some stuff, you know? I guess like I was going through depression as a young kid, and I just needed a way to express that. And I couldn't talk to anybody really, or I didn't know how to or ask for help. So my resort was writing and like hip hop and just like immersing myself in that. So I feel like that was a big outlet for me. And I feel like that's why the way it sounds, because what I say means so much to me now.
Yeah.
I think that's,
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like, and maybe I'm speaking out of term here, but I feel like a lot of the times when you hear music that's that collected and that methodical and melodical, it's because, and I don't want to say like your life was chaotic and it was crazy. I don't mean it like that. I just mean like, You're like, I'm going to find some solace maybe in this, you know? So it's wild to me to think like that's where it came from, even at a young age, because I honestly think every kid should have a journal and write poetry and all that stuff, even if they think it's like weird or boring or whatever, because it often turns into music. But it's an interesting collab. So for everybody that's in the comment section that don't know what we're talking about, like it's basically like, how would you even describe it, right? Like it's like big band, not big band. Oh gosh, there's piano, there's like everything that's in smooth jazz, there's like all these wicked undertones, and then you just like hit it with these like really relatable lyrics over and over and over again. Like I was listening to this one cut and you guys were talking, and not to go straight to the serious stuff, but you guys, you know, were talking about suicide, but I was like, felt like I was sitting in a garden hanging out, like, you know, picking flowers or something. And I was like, man, like you've definitely.
Yeah, the one with Chai.
Yeah.
We're talking about we're talking about our homegirl Maya that passed away in 2021. And she's my best friend. I called her, like, we called each other brother and sister.
Yeah.
Because like that was our kind of relationship. But she died in a car accident, and then like I witnessed it, and it was just like to kind of have that like it was kind of like a full circle moment where like we were able to finally put what we wanted to say into words, and like in a way that I felt like maybe she would respect even if she was still here, you know? Because like I feel like I'd still make a song about her even if she was still here.
Yeah,
time.
she's your
But,
homegirl. Hey, dang.
yeah, she was my homegirl, and I feel like to talk about the suicide part is like I wrote that hook and then I sent it to Chai.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need your flavor on it, like because I
Yeah.
know like what I'm saying is gonna resonate. And so she sent it back, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's the song.
Yeah.
And it was like, it just worked out perfectly, essentially, and like, yeah, her verse brings it all together. When she's like, do it all for Maya and all that, that's her name. And it's like, yeah, it's dope. And
Yeah.
We've been making a lot more too.
Man, she's a cool person to have on your team though, for real, because her voice is really universal. You know what I mean? Like it's really universal. And when she came in, I was like, okay, shoot. Like, I mean, now that I know actually what's going on with that song, it's really interesting because you're not really talking about like somebody's experience, but like your experience to somebody's situation, right? And like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. It's not it's a story, but it's not a story of like,
yeah,
because I have made songs where it's just like I like make a story and like rap about it, but yeah, that one's it's super real and like
yeah,
rest in peace and
yeah.
And I love her so much, and wherever she's at, I hope she's doing good.
Just kicking it with everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, wherever they're at, it's looking pretty wicked these days. Like, you know, the list keeps getting longer and the heartbreak gets bigger. But when I start thinking about everybody hanging out together, I'm like, it probably sounds so good up there. You know, it probably sounds so good up there. Yeah.
A bunch of real ones.
A bunch of real ones. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's wicked. Don't mind me asking, but like, where are you sitting right now? Like, where are you in Canada?
I'm in my room.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. I live in Courtney, Comox Valley.
Okay. Yeah.
Courtney, Comox Valley. I just moved into a new apartment.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've lived here since I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, so you know the scene. Well, I grew up actually not too far from there, to be honest. Like, I mean, there's always been that thing like Campbell River versus Courtney, so we don't need to get into all of that.
You grew up in Campbell River, yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I got to tell everybody that, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, you can keep it on the down low.
Right? Yeah. Everyone's like, tell me a story. I'm like, no, that's cool. We're cool.
Yeah.
That's man. There's some wicked music hanging out around there though. Like the scene is popping right now. Well, it has been for a minute, right? Like there's some good music happening on the island, and it sounds like you surround yourself with some really cool people. Obviously, the list that I got to see, I was like, you know, it's admirable any day of the week. But then there's like a couple people that stick out, and I know like Mercules must have been like a big one for you.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah. What was that like? Like, because I mean, that's like bucket list type stuff.
It was really cool. It just came out of the blue. Like I just got a message from one of my promoters, Vig. Shout out Vig.
Yeah,
Vig
shout
Doris
out.
Schulman, that's my guy.
Heck yeah.
He hit me up one morning and he's like, one of the openers opted out. Do you want to play? And I was like, hell yeah. Like it like felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I was like, I gotta do this. Like, show up for my hometown, you know. Like, it's like, yeah, hometown shows. Or it's just like I always feel like I have to do good because like if I'm somewhere else, I'm like, you know, like it's great. But like whenever
no
I'm
one will
in my
know.
home, yeah, I'm so local, so it's like it was super big for me at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And what's cool about that, I think, is like, you know, he's done such a great job of bringing it back. Because I mean, we all remember when he was just hanging out, you know, not really. I mean, he's always been doing something, but not anything bigger than anybody else. I mean, like I said, I heard your music, so you know, for him to like catch it and ride with it, like that's super dope. But to see him kind of bring everybody back up on stage with him and be like, you know, this is what it is. Like this is where the music's at. Like, you know.
And you know, I like Mercules too. Like he's a really big mental health advocate too.
Absolutely.
And so like I listened to Mercules since I was a kid. So like, just to like kind of force folklore moments like that. I don't know if you heard of Sweatshop Union.
Of course, yeah. Mo Mashiri is my homie, man. He's been on the show a couple of times.
Okay, yeah. I seen that. Yeah. But that's my homie. He's like basically my mentor almost.
Yeah.
And so like I asked him like when I started putting out music, I was like, yo, I need a little bit of guidance on like what to do, and like, you know, and he's been helping me out, and it's been really nice, and we kind of formed a good relationship together, and we recorded some tracks together, and it's just super cool. Like I remember being a kid hanging outside the Waverly. I was like with all my homies, and we're like outside the window like watching them perform. and then they come outside and say like, what's up, how's it going, homies? And we're like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit, that's so cool. And then now we're like I just played a show with him at Blackberry Jam, which was really cool.
Yes.
I like cried while he played like one of his songs. I was like, damn, we really did it. So shout out Momoshiri. I love you, bro.
Yeah, I love you too, bro. Like for real. Every time I think about like, I guess maybe he was one of those like bucket lists for me, right? Because I was like, oh, you know, here's the list of people I'd love to see, and he was my second. Yeah, he was my second podcast, and I'm like, man, Calico, like you're really making me sweat here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, what the heck? And he was so cool about it. And then, yeah, ever since then, like, yeah, he's just such a real human being, because he's already been and done it and come back, right? Like,
oh yeah,
and yeah, and so to like do all that and then, you know, make time for people, not that he wouldn't, because that's not even the type of person he is, but to like genuinely make time for people and just like hang out and, you know, kick it, and it's just awesome. And so yeah, he came back on for a second time, and it's funny because that the show, there was a lot happening like in the political climate, right? And so we like start talking about music, and I was at this event, we were setting up stage and everything like that, and we're having a great time. And then I don't even know what happened, like an hour and 40 minutes later, we're like talking about like, you know, people like actually like political stuff, and I was just like, oh man, like I gotta get back to work. Like
yeah,
like totally forgot we were live streaming. I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
You're just having a conversation. I love that.
Yeah, he's good people for sure. What is it about him though, like originally, that you kind of take, I don't want to say that you take from him to add to your stuff, but what is it about that, about what he does that like attracts you, or that you like incorporate in your own stuff?
I think the way like every time I've met him, the way he carries himself, the things he says, I guess in his raps, I've always resonated with. Especially in like a lot of their earlier stuff, like Water Street. I was vibing a lot with what they were saying on those records. So that was a big part of it. I think yeah, he's just a really down to earth person, and it's like, you know the saying of like people where they're like, don't meet your heroes and shit. Yeah. And like to me, like in my small town, like shit, like that's like, it's like that, right? So like I was a little afraid to meet him, but like and it's worked out in an amazing way, which I'm really grateful for. Yeah. And I think that just I just gravitate towards that kind of grounded energy, if that makes sense. And I need more of that in my life. And I feel like even from like someone that's done it and like been in it, knows what to, I guess, could give me some advice on what to do, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Because it's still new. Like, I just started putting out music like 2 years ago. So it's like.
I wasn't checking the dates, to be honest. I wasn't checking the dates.
2019, actually, which is like 6 years ago. But like, for real, where I was like kind of like, okay, like, I think it's time to like just get it out there, you know? And just get over myself.
Totally. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna put, okay, so for everybody that's hanging out in the comments, like, we see you, well, I don't know if Aubrey sees you, but I see you. Yeah.
Good check.
we see you. And honestly, like, yeah, it's a pleasure to have everybody here, but I think maybe we should give them a little taste of what you're talking about, because we've talked about it a little bit, and yeah, I mean, how else do you let the people know but to just let the people know? I'm gonna play that track that you sent me, Pick Yourself Up, because it is, you know.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay,
yeah.
I wish I had a hoodie. Every time I have a hoodie, it's just like, actually, put the blanket over. Let's restart. No?
Wait, can not hear it?
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear it?
No, I cannot.
What?
No.
Yeah.
Wait one second.
Sometimes I feel like trying, sometimes I wanna lie down. Even when I'm at my highest, the lows are all that I found. I try to keep in touch with my love for music and sound. Had thoughts about giving up, but I picked myself off the ground.
Can you hear it now?
I know a couple people that probably want me to drown. Rather see me working dead ends.
Wait, hold on. That's not a thing. Wait.
Wait. Hold
on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Can you hear it? Yeah, we can't be doing that. I'm just sitting over here jamming by myself. Like,
you're like, yeah, fire.
That's wild.
That's hilarious.
Hold up. Right? Yeah, let's sort this right out. We'll call the boss. Oh yeah, we heard it. So okay, so she says, so apparently they can hear it. Hold on, I'm gonna turn it up over here and let's see.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
In a local town, I know that's not my vision. My friends told me I'm different. I prayed to make a million. I stayed all alone in my room, writing lyrics at night. I felt an impending doom taking over my life. I thought if it hit this bottle, it would make me alright. Start drinking until I wobble, saying things you don't like. Take a swig from the nozzle, mixing the vodka with Sprite. I got tired of being hostile, so I'm making it right. Cause it's not only the liquor that's been holding me back. I'm learning to be me again, now I can finally relax. Hey. Change gon' come if you want to. There ain't no love if you don't got you. Gotta pick yourself up and you don't want to. I know that life is tough, but so am I too. Change gon' come if you want to. There ain't no love if you don't got you. Gotta pick yourself up and you don't want to. I know that life is tough, but so am I too. Even though I've been depressed, still I'm counting blessings. Tired of holding on this weight, I had to skip a plate. At dinner time, we ain't never had no time to waste. The finish line is never crossed, cause it's a death race to the top. Feed on my family, cutting off homies like crops. I'm farming these beats. My instrument is my voice, I hope it reaches the streets. I'm never hearing the noise unless it come and proceeds. From the shows that I play, and different roads that I take. Knew I was born to be great. My auntie told me I was gifted, so I treated that way. Since I was young, my thoughts are twisted, but I keep them at bay. It's like I'm fishing, keep the good ones, throw the bad ones away. I'm building walls, taller than you can see. I try to call in God, but he never answered to me. I do this shit for my squad. To anybody that applauds, I'm just doing my thing. This life is only a dream. Life is only a dream.
Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, we need to talk about this. Like, my goodness, let me get this out of the way for a second here, because there's something about talking about like, let me get a hoodie, or like let's get, like, everyone knows that. And I mean, maybe as a female it's different because we're like, oh, we gotta steal our dude's hoodie, blah 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 blah. But there's something that, like, as soon as you say that, like, you're like, oh, yeah, let me get my things, like, let me get my smells and my people, let me grab my, my particulars that like make me feel a certain way. And so right off the bat, you like set like the tone of like what needs to happen or what we need to be doing to like get into this. And yeah, it's well done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That was the track I sent you, right? On the Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Actually, I wrote that outside of my job. I remember when I wrote that. I wrote it outside of my job. The first verse. I was working at a liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I remember I was on my break and I was just eating some shit, and it just like boom. I was like, in that situation and that time, like sometimes songs just happen like that. Like I'll write them in like 10-15 minutes, or sometimes songs maybe like I could still be writing a song from like 3 years ago. It's like just like poking at it, and then finally one day I'm like, it's done. it's fine. Like, now you can have it.
That's a wrap. It only took a bit. Yeah, but when it's like done, when it's done baking, right? Like, yeah, I get that. And we appreciate it as the consumer, as the people that are taking it in, we appreciate it because it's like, when you hear something that's like completed like that, and like everyone in the comments is like, man, we heard it's fire. Like, it is fire. It brings you to a place. And I've actually seen a couple of your posts, like, so because obviously Calico and I were like talking a little bit, and we get into it. We do our little hen pre-meeting about the shows that are coming up, and we like creep a little bit and go through some stuff. And what I thought was like really interesting is like when you put out a track, you're like, hey, this one means a lot to me. I want to, you give like a bit of like a dialogue before you're going to drop something. And it makes it so, it makes it such an intimate experience for us. Right. Like,
and I think the interesting to me is like how people resonate with it. Like some people might take it differently, or like people might like sometimes when I show people my music, they'll cry right there. Mm-hmm. Or some people might even be like, that's not it. I was like,
that ain't it.
I was like, all right. But majority of the time it's good news. But but I totally feel you. Like I spend a lot of the time in the kitchen when I'm making. Like writing's the hardest part for me for some reason. Like I don't know why. Like I can make a beat like that. I can like engineer some shit, but like when it comes to writing, like it's so, I don't know. I really have to mean what I say when I say it, and like it has to be ready. And like I've been trying to get over that, but like at the end of the day, I still very meticulously write my raps because it's like I want every word to kind of have a place,
Totally. Yeah, totally. Well, and I think about maybe rap specifically is like you get to use wordplay a little bit too, or like double entendres, and like there's like a little bit of like organization that goes into it, like where you want something to like land in a song, and like I can appreciate that for sure.
And you know what? I feel that because like I write pretty conscious, like like introspective lyrics, but like I'm studied on the game. Like I know like like. I've been studying like since a kid, so like I can still like fuck you up in a battle, but like I'm still like I want to show the world that it's like this is my world, and like maybe I could bring you into it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's wicked. You're like, oh, we've been studying always. What do you mean?
Yeah, big time.
I love it. Oh, I love that.
Snoop Dogg said it best. He's like, the game is not to be told, it's to be sold. And it's like, because you can't just tell somebody the game, like you have to sell it. So it's like, how are you gonna sell it?
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, oh, my brain just went like, I've had so many conversations lately, and it's interesting like how I mean, nowadays, especially because not only is like the music a product, but like you are also a product. And if you're going to have like some disconnect between like you and the music, which a lot of people do, right? Like Snoop is one who's like sold himself and his product, and he's got that mastered. And a lot of people are like, yeah, it's cool. It's Snoop. It's this, is that. It's like, yeah, but he's already done the research and proven it a million different ways. So like, it's not even like that. But nowadays, especially because music's so accessible and, all these people are popping up on TikTok and all this other stuff. It's like, if you don't know the operations, or you haven't done the work, or you haven't put in the sweat equity, or if you haven't even just been hungry for like 5 minutes, then don't bother. We know, like we know. And not to say that rich people don't make good music. I don't even mean it like that. But there is something like that's grounded in hip hop specifically. That's like, when somebody's like been through it or spent more time at their nan's house than they should have, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all that.
Mom's
like,
kitchen.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's super true. And maybe like, I guess like when, like Growth is another one of those songs. And I think that might've been one of the ones that you kind of put a bit of an intro to. I might have that incorrect actually, now that I think about it, but it was one of those songs, which is the one that you dropped in 2024 because you wanted to make sure it happened before 2025 to give people a little taste.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of what's going to come, and like kind of like the sound that I want to present.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, very, very, very jazz beats and just very just hip hop, like boom bap esque, but also like super soulful and jazz and like kind of something that everyone can listen to. Because I noticed like some of my metalhead friends, they'll hit me up and they'll be like, "Yo, that song's sick," and I'll be like, "Damn, okay."
Okay, but the metalheads know though, because I mean, listen, I'm comfortable with metal just as like I'm comfortable with hip hop, and they know.
Me
I
too.
mean,
Actually,
you know, some of their cuts, it's like, there's a lot of instrumental on a lot of that stuff. Like Slipknot has it in the bag a lot of the times, and that stuff comes in real easy, just like that, you know. So. Yeah, totally. That's wicked. So what is it? So when what is it? What's happening? Tell me everything. No. Sorry, I get so excited.
It's all good. I appreciate it. It helps me be engaged.
So when it comes to like your catalog of music, what is there a song that kind of sticks out for you that's like that one is
not
for
yet.
me?
Not yet.
Yeah.
No, not yet. It's coming though.
Yeah.
Like I don't know when, but like I really want to curate an album this year. Hopefully like release it this year or next year, but like I really want to craft something that like is me, but also can speak to people, and like that's like my goal is like to create a body of work that screams who I am, but also like I don't know. I had this comment one time on one of my first music videos, and then one homie was like, "Man, he's like, safe to say that it's like you helped me through all the bullshit this year or something like that." And it's like I don't even know the kid, but it's just like that's the first time where I seen something like that. I'm like, oh, like this is impactful and like it can inspire somebody, or like however it does. You know, music is subjective, but that was like kind of the kickstart for me where I was like, okay, like this is what I want to do, and like help people in a way.
Dang.
In a sense.
Yeah, when you started getting comments like that must have been wild, right? Like
it was very wild, and now like more so it happens in person now, where people tell me that and they're like,
sorry, I just assume everything. Yeah.
It's okay, and it's very genuine, and it's just like they're like, man, like what you say really helps me, and it's just like, and which is crazy because when I write, I don't really think about anybody else. Like I'm not thinking of my audience. I'm thinking of like how I'm feeling in that moment, or like whatever happened during that day or in the past month. But somehow it always manages to relate. Like people can resonate in whatever way they want, which is totally cool with me.
Yeah. Yeah. What a cool thing. You know, it's interesting because like a lot of people have sat where you're sitting now, and you know, everybody has like a different way of going about it, right? Like some people are like, man, I make music for the people, but I make sure that I think it's a banger. You know what I mean? But like to like keep it that close to the chest and be like, no, this is like this is for me. And if it's cool with you, then it's great. But like to know, like that's really interesting because I mean, and not to say that not everybody feels that way, but not everybody says that here. Like it's not something that everybody says, and it's really interesting to me that it's like that intimate for you because it's super important for us. And not to like sidestep, but Sherry said The Recipe, and that is the song that I was thinking of actually when I was talking about it was The Recipe. And that's the other one. Like, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically that's like a walkthrough of what you want people to know, right? In the same way that like the album that you're talking about is going to be like a body.
Pretty much. And that song was kind of like a way to show people that I can just rap and like that I can like just like, you know, syllables and punchlines and just like on a dope beat, like a fun, happy beat where it's like that's kind of like what I want is like my lyrics can still be like deep and like I can say some crazy shit, but like the beat's dope and it's like happy almost where they're like, oh, this is a good song. And they're like, oh wait, like this is actually pretty sad, but like I resonate with it though. So it's
totally. It's got kind of atmosphere vibes. Like, is he a role model of yours at all? Because
in my younger days, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one
Okay.
song, Sunshine, that was
I was
very
just-
pivotal.
Yeah.
Very pivotal, like in my
Right.
sound. Like, I don't know if you know of there's a couple rappers that I really vibe with right now. It's Malds Monday,
Okay.
Coda the Friend. Mac Miller's always been a huge influence on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that name a lot lately.
Yeah, it's just
There's
kind of that
something,
sound.
yep, and there's something about what he did before that is ringing really true recently. Like, I mean, we all know what happened. May all that be a thing and whatever. But there's something about that body of work that people keep. It's been a constant conversation lately, and I'm like, interesting. Interesting that, but it goes to say, like, some people are just ahead of it, and not to say he was like wildly ahead of his time or anything, but like maybe there is something to that, right? Because he was cool then, but he's definitely like hitting different nerves with people. The same music, but totally different nerves. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off though. Yeah, Mac. Like,
that's okay. Yeah. You're all good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the conversation as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense because Atmosphere, like that song Sunshine that you said, like that one is maybe the one that popped up in my mind first when I heard your music. Like, no specific song, just the sound, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Sunshine, it's fine. Okay,
he's
like,
talking about like he's talking about like getting drunk and waking up hungover and shit, and like I've kind of been writing shit about that, like kind of like more about addiction and being honest about it, and kind of like essentially, because like I feel like my music is really based on mental health and like really based on how I can push that forward, and like it's okay, to feel sad, because everyone wants you to fucking be happy all the time, but that's not possible. Like sometimes I just want to feel sad. That's where music comes into play, and like I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, it doesn't even matter, because the thing is that what you said is exactly what we I mean, it's our mission statement, right? And like it's so important that people understand that it's okay, like especially the dudes, like we're here for the dudes in a big way, because you guys kind of had the shit end of that, like, man up, and boys don't cry, and all that shit, man.
Like, I heard all that when I was a kid.
Right, and like it drives me absolutely crazy. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why. I don't understand like where that came from in like the scope of things, like why we think that one thing is like, it's, if you're a girl, it's totally cool because girls cry all the time or whatever, like
sensitive or whatever, right?
We're sensitive, we can't handle it. Like,
some women just aren't, like some women actually they're just like fucking
right.
I'll give a fuck.
I got some aunties that like I would not even play with, like at all, and so I don't know where that came from, but it bothers me, like in a way that, like, well, enough to create this company, you know what I mean? Like, it is totally. Pinecase Men's Mental Health and Music. Like, that's what it is. Because I was like, someone's got to say something for the dudes. Like, how come they don't have the advocates? How come all the moms, how come all the single moms have all the resources and advocates? What's happening right now? Why are dudes working their asses off but can't show emotion and can't see their kids and can't, don't want to reach out for help because they'll lose their job? And like, no one was talking about it. I was like, this is crazy.
I hear you totally. Like,
and
that's a big problem, because I mean, I talked to a lot of my homies about it, and like I've even like tried to get some of my homies to come to therapy with me. And it's just like, because I go to therapy every week now. And I used to think like I was weak for it, I used to think that was like, man, I don't need help, I can do it all by myself, right? And like, but that was my mentality for way too long. And like, I think when I turned 24, something just happened to me where I was like, okay, like, no one's gonna help me. So I have to help myself. And that was where it came down to. I was like, okay, like, this is real, and like I can't just keep undermining like shitty behavior, or like my depression and how bad it gets sometimes. Like my addictions and everything, right? Because all that comes into play, and that's all one thing. But I think I'm a really big advocate for men's mental health. And we all need a space, you know, like even if it's a friend or a close family member, or like, you know, just it was really hard for me to reach out. Once I did, like after a couple months, it was like, okay, like I can like, instead of going like this, I could go like this kind of, and not like have such highs and such lows. And I can kind of balance it out more, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Isn't it amazing when you can just say it, like as soon as you say it without the stigma and all the bullshit attached to it, like once it's out there, then it's like, okay, it's okay to like not be cool or whatever. Like I mean, not to make it super personal, but finding an identity after addiction is a really interesting thing that, like,
yes,
you know, because you're like, I want to be like I used to be. That person was successful, not necessarily it with money, but just successful. People understood that person, conversated, hung out, you know, things were happening. I was socialism, all this stuff. And then, or not socialism, but like, you know, socializing. And, you know, I want to get back to that. But now you have like all this grit and knowledge and understanding and appreciation for some like real shit. And you're like, okay, how do you incorporate that into the glory that once was without because, and not that there's anything wrong with being like, hi, my name is, and I am a junkie. Like that's not an issue. But how do you kind of swish over top of that and incorporate like sprinkles of that and more of this and all this stuff and come up with like what you're comfortable with, you know?
And who you are and all that stuff, like especially after, which can be a huge battle for a lot of people, because a lot of who they built up was built up on their addiction, and they can only do things when they're either drunk, high, or whatever, right? And so it's like they built up this character.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
And so it's like this person that you don't even know who it is once you get sober. Yeah. Which is crazy, because like, so you have to relearn who you are again, and it's like, I hear you totally. That's kind of it's almost where I'm at right now, you know, like,
right. Yeah. Who is this person? What does that look like for? What does that look like? Not even for everybody else. But like, what does that look like for myself? Yeah.
Right.
It's a weird space to be in because, it's interesting because it's like, you know, the things that you prioritize when you're in, you know, I'll just call it active addiction. We'll use the proper terms, like in active addiction. And that doesn't even have to be active addiction. Like maybe that's just like utilizing substances to their full capacity. Because that's how I usually refer to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like whatever. But like that person has to be, you know, resourceful and resilient and like there's a lot of actually really great qualities that come from that life. Like there's a lot of great qualities that come from that. But how do you pull that out and leave the shrapnel behind? Like how do you leave the stuff you don't need? You know, like you don't have to answer that. I just mean it in like a general sort of. But if you want to, resolve all the world's problems, that'd be great. Like,
right? I used to want to. But no, I hear you. I see you. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to try and navigate that. Especially now, with like, I don't know. There's so much shit going on in the world right now, and like, everyone has their own issues and their own problems, and I found that treating people with kindness is more important than anything, because like, I don't know, when I'm hurting super bad, I'll be like hella judgmental, and I'll be like, man, why did I just think of that about somebody? It's because I'm not feeling good. And like something in my life isn't going well, so I'm like, I'll project it outwards. But like, it's just, I don't know, it's not the right way, I guess, really.
No. No.
To go about life, because I don't know.
Honestly, I've been putting into play like let it breathe. Like let it breathe. Before you react, like let that bitch breathe for like a bit. Like don't respond, don't come at it. Like, you know, like and like it took some training because, you know, people send texts and they like expect a response, and then you got to stop what you're doing to like entertain some shit or whatever. Like, you know, that's like a whole different conversation. But like, I've been really practicing like giving people the respect that they deserve, which is giving something its full attention, which means like I'm not in this space right now to like give that 100%. You know what I mean? Like that's like
Absolutely.
the polite way of getting to it. But like in my mind, I'm like, man, if I, and not that I'm like a hostile human being, because I'm actually, you know, I'm pretty casual, but it's like everything, like I need to give myself the appropriate amount of like space to like really get there and give it the love that it so deserves.
I'm that way too, you know. I used to
Mm-hmm.
I don't like confrontation most times, so like if it's like some people, maybe it needs to be dealt with right away. But I usually like to take a bit of time. And it's just like, let me think about this for a second. Or like, I know what you mean, because like I could crash out and like get a text message from somebody that I'm beefing with, or like, you know, whether it may be an ex, an old friend, or somebody that I'm fighting with, right? And then they'll just be like, send you that message, and then you'd be like, oh, so should I send that?
Right.
Or maybe you do send it, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that because I reacted out of anger or like emotionally, and it's like that wasn't the right move. And like, I hear you. Yeah.
It like solves the problem for a second, but then like the fallout's even bigger. So now you got to deal with like the fallout of it. If you had to just like let it chill for a second, then you could
and just had an actual civil conversation about it, or like, and now you're both feeling some type of way, and
right?
It's like, that totally could have been avoided.
Everyone's freaking out, hostile. It's crazy, and like everything's so accessible. Like we're so accessible now, right? People can get a hold of us a million different ways, and so it's like I've been really like practicing it. Like, okay, how do you show them that like I've seen it, I see you, you know, like but I just need 5, like, and it like into the streets too, right? Because I'm just like, dang, like hold on, like let me walk slowly to you, like we'll get there, but like just let me walk real slow for a second.
Absolutely.
Do you think that maybe in your music, because your music's wild compared to like even to think about like that, it's not to say that you don't suit your music, I don't mean it like that, I just mean like it's wild to me, like do you use your music as a tool to say the things that you don't want to say? Like
big time. I mean, like even in just everyday life, right? Like I have some pretty deep songs. Like I know some people are like, do you write anything happy? And I was like, sometimes. I found that most of my songs lately have been more, how can I say it, like in a more like upwards trajectory of like what I like the good things of my life, instead of seeing all the shitty things and like writing about that and like how sad I am. But it's like, okay, how could I switch that? Because my mom was like, one day she's like, you know, why don't you write about all the cool shit you did this year instead of all the shitty shit you did this year? And I was like, that's a good point, but like how could I put those two together and like make it cohesive? And so I think, what was your question again? Sorry.
No, it's all good, because like all of that, I had to put that on there because that comment came up, and I was like, as you were saying all that beautiful stuff.
Okay,
Auntie is so proud of you. It's so sweet. But like, like my question was like, do you use your music as like a tool to like say the things that you don't want to say? And I think you actually answered that pretty well. Like, you can use it as a way to like say the things, like you can say the negative things and like let that be a thing. And if people are trying to tell you that maybe you should focus on the positive, like that's cool too. Great, let the people know. But like if it's always worked as a way to like release that, like if depression is a part of it, or if negative thoughts are a part of it, or like pressure or struggles are a part of it, and you found a way to like put that down where people resonate, like make happy music. I mean, mom, auntie, Nat, Grant, none of these people are wrong, but at the same time, like if that's a tool or something you can do to like just put it out there and then move on. Like, yeah, don't ever stop doing that either,
Yeah.
Which is what I took from what you were saying. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes I just go off and forget what what the question was. It's good. I like to yap. I like to yap sometimes, so it's like it's very helpful.
Good. Yeah. Well, and I'm like no better because I'll just keep going. Like we'll go around the playground like a few times before I come back. People are like, "What is she talking about?" I'm like, "We're getting there. I know what the topic is. Like we'll get there. I promise. Like I'll tell you where to pick up naloxone kits and shit. We'll get there by the end. It'll be fine." Yeah. No, we're chilling. So then, I mean, if you can't pick one of your favorite songs, is there a song that you would redo?
That's out.
Yeah.
Bottom of the bottle. I think that's the first one that I ever did.
Oh, okay.
Maybe just over a different beat, but I think like what I was saying was very important.
Yeah.
In that time, like I was 19, I didn't expect anything of it, so it's just like rap has always been a big part of my life, right? Like no matter how small and insignificant we are in this world, but like rap has always been there for me, essentially. As corny as that sounds, but like it's just music, right? Like music has always been for me. So like I feel like if I recreated Bottom of the Bottle in like a nastier version, but like still has that same vibe.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, a different music video maybe, but that's the only song I can think of. But I know that like I haven't wrote that one yet because like I'm writing every day, so it's like.
Oh, it's brewing though, and like that's so exciting. That's so exciting to know that you know that, because then we can just keep checking for you all the time to like, okay, what's happening now? Like, what's going on? Like,
it'd be pretty bad if I was like 4 songs in. I was like, this is my best song.
This is it, guys. We've done it.
This is it. We've done it. It's over now.
Lock it up. Throw away the keys. Turn the sign off. We're out of here.
Yeah. AUBNOXIOU project done.
That's so funny. Yeah, I know, for real. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Do you make music?
No, and you know what? It's funny. I'm sitting here next to all the tools to do it. Like,
oh really? You got all this thing?
Yeah, everything. Like, yeah, I'm sitting next to some serious like Arteria and some other stuff. And
oh shit! You got the whole setup.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta slide you my FL key, and then you can start producing.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome. Yeah, no, I'm like super spoiled. I grew up in the studio. My dad, my grandpa owned a studio. My dad, took it over, and I spent most of my childhood hanging out in the big black spinny chair. Yeah, totally. And so, the love has always been there. I mean, I could play piano if I really had to, probably, and I could, with enough like. I mean, if you're going to run it through a soundboard, I could maybe drop a couple vocals, maybe, like if I, you know what I mean? Like, depends, right? Like,
punch me in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, on the day to day, it's just never really been, I have so many other outlets that worked, so I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say like I've never been forced into music. But it's just never, it just hasn't been there. I really enjoy, I actually enjoy the other part of it. So when you guys are doing what you're doing, like for me, front of house is something that's super integral in that industry. You guys,
the marketing side.
Yeah, the marketing side.
That side I hate.
Yeah, right.
I don't hate it,
but a lot of artists do, right? And like you don't need to, take time for all that, and like right down to like organizing the ushers in the in-house, and like making sure that the lighting guy is lighting and the sound guy is sounding. Like for me, that's like I mean, you don't even really have to pay me to do that kind of stuff. Like I'll because it's like really where my passion is.
There.
Yeah. Like we got blazers and name tags on a rack just right over there. Like, no problem. Anytime. Yeah. Right. But I think that like that, I mean, the industry is wide. I've paid my IATSE dues now for like, we're rolling up on 20 years. So, I think everyone has their position, and and that just happened to be mine. So yeah.
Nice. I always tell that to people. Like, one thing I forgot I was gonna say. Like, I know that a lot of my like friends who want to rap, or like they'll get inspired and they'll be like, "Yo, I've been writing this," and they'll be like, and some of my friends they'll be like, "So how did you get into it?" Or like, what would you suggest to me and how I could get good at rapping or start? Like, where do I start? And I always tell them, study the game first. Like, just get very acquainted, like, with what you're trying to do. And like, there's always different avenues, right? Like a manager or like a producer of a show or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with like when I'm telling people to like just study it. Like, if you really want to learn how to rap, I feel like you should watch a couple documentaries on like 50 Cent and like just like classic ones, like sampling documentaries.
Yes.
Just anything. Just put yourself on game. I think is really important.
Man, I'm here for that. Like, do the research. And you know what? Kids are like, I don't want to go to school. Go to English class. Like, you know what I mean? No one wants to write that essay. We get that. But if you can figure out what part of the semester where they start talking about like metaphors and similes and shit like that, and like write it down. I mean, I probably could make like a good 4 albums with the amount of like, you know, poetry that I've written. And it's always started from like, you know, a couple of pot leaves on the corner of the page, and then like some stupid nicknames. Like, you know, my friend, we used to call her, you know, it's like the salt and pepper thing, because it was easy. We were black and white, right? And you just like go off of that, and then all of a sudden, like you add more things to it. Before you know it, you got like a couple of bars that they rhyme, and like that's what kids don't understand is like that's the start. There it is, like, you know, like it's just a piece of paper and a pen and maybe a friendship, or maybe the end of a friendship. It's just your feelings. It's not that crazy, but you're right. Like, study that. And then as you go through it, like putting yourself in those positions, man, listen, no one wants to work at a freaking theater. It's like a church basement, you know, some of the little small town theaters, right? But like it goes and goes and goes. And I ended up doing like the special event licensing to get, you know, outdoor stuff happening like at the Tide Mark, actually not far from you. So, you know, right now they run events all summer long, when that was never a thing when I was a kid. We had to lobby the local government, but it's like when you start understanding like those pieces of it, the rest of it kind of comes with it. You start putting yourselves in the same spaces as the rappers and the, you know, and the orchestra, and knowing where, you know, the pit is and whatever you need to do. So yeah, man, like say it louder from the top. Like, yeah, study the game.
Yeah. And then like another thing I won't forget is like have fun with it too. Like,
yeah.
Always forget, like, don't forget to study the game, but like have fun with it, because a lot of the times when you're trying to do something new, you can get very visceral with it. And you'll be like, I'm not that good. Let's just try something else.
Right.
And then so it's like you'll get, like, I remember J. Cole, he said maybe you could try something 10 times, but then you quit on that 10th try. But imagine that 11th try, you get it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's what I try to tell people when it's like, whenever they're trying something new, it's just don't give up. Like I tried fucking playing guitar. Sorry, my language. I tried playing guitar and I gave up after like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But like I was starting to get it, but I was like, this is too hard. But I swear, if I kept on doing it, I would be able to play some shit at a bonfire.
It's so true though, right? Like, yeah, it's so true. But I mean, if you're not, like you said, like you have to have fun with it, and if not everything is everybody's thing, right? Like, you know, not everybody. Yeah.
Right. And like that's the crazy part too, is because like like not even from rap, but like I couldn't install a fucking wind turbine, you know,
right.
Or like I couldn't. Yeah, just stuff like that. Like, there's something for everybody, but I feel like rapping is a big thing for like a lot of people, because people just need a way to express themselves, right? Yes. And that's the hardest part of like being a human. It's like, how do I express myself? Because like I'm not creative, but it's like you are. There's something in you there. If you're thinking about it, you're creative.
Yeah. Yes. Couldn't install a fucking wind turbine. Oh my God. No, that's for real though, because you're right. There's a lot of dudes that can install a wind turbine. I know them. I know people that can do that. But they would like, they, you know, people I know that can actually do that have heard your songs and are like, I couldn't fucking do that. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Like actually, like those conversations have happened, So yeah, yeah, stick with it and have fun. You have great advice. What great advice? Like, yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Like, thanks for coming and hanging out with me, honestly. Like,
oh, thank you. I had a great time.
Right?
It's like exercising my like conversational skills too. It's great. That's hilarious. Thank you. Sorry.
No, you don't have to be okay. You want some real candid shit? Because I don't say this very often, but when like I was in a position where like, I had a choice and something had to give, and it had to be some sort of meetings. And I say this, I've said this a few times on the show, but like codependency, drugs, alcohol, whatever, there's a ton of different type, right, a ton of different type of addictions, man, like that really fuck people up. And it's not really everybody's business, like what I've been about always. But here's the thing, the standard has always been the meetings, right? And I don't know if it's necessarily because of the information that you get when you're at the meetings, but it's the social aspect that happens at the meetings that we really need to like get back on our feet. I'm not down for counting days. I'm not here for all of that. People that do, get yours, get your coin, and get on with your life. I love it. But that's not me. And so when I started this podcast, I was like, holy shit, I'm really actually putting myself in a position where like having conversations, they have to happen. You can't go live and then just not say anything. You can't go live like and talk to, like these beautiful strangers and not say anything. And it was honestly probably the biggest part of my recovery, was like doing that. Like, okay, I got to practice having conversations with just regular folks about regular shit. Like, okay,
right.
Okay. Yeah. And it's not something that people understand maybe all the time, but yeah, when you're out there whiling out, it's just, I mean, you spend a lot of time in your head or not. I don't know what the heck I was doing, but
that's the big thing. No, you hit it on the head, is when you're in that, the amount that you're in your head is astronomical. Like, it's like, like when I was like really going through it, I think last year, like, there's not a day where I'd like spend a day not in my head, because like I was constantly in there. So it's like, I commend you for making it out of there. And like,
thank you.
Understanding who you are, and that's important.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you like being real with me, because I completely understand that feeling. It's just like shit. Like, okay, one conversation down, one more to go. Like, one more.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Wicked. Cool. Okay, well, you know what? Like, it's about that time anyways. You want to throw your platforms out there so that everybody knows where to go and find you?
Yeah. So everybody can find me at AUBNOXIOU. So it's capital everything. So AUBNOXIOU $ everywhere. You can get it on Apple Music. That's Aubrey Brass on Facebook. That one Res Dog on Instagram. It just sounds how it says, so I don't know. That one Res Dog. If you just search Obnoxious, you'll probably find me as well.
Did I spell that right? AUBNOXIOU
$.
Money sign. Yeah.
Money sign. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we got it. Yeah.
Do you know the rapper Joey Badass?
No.
He's dope. You should check him out. But that's like top 5. But he has $signs on the end of his name. That's where I got that.
It's funny because some people got them $signs in their name, and like it takes me back to a time when like we'd be saving people's phone numbers and shit and whatever, and I was like, oh, he's a real homie. He knows, like, like only the real ones don't, like, putting $signs and shit. That's awesome. Yeah, no, it made me laugh today. I was like, okay, I see it.
Yeah, at first I was like, this is a reach, but like it works. So I was like, fuck it.
Totally
I'm gonna keep doing it.
You can't have a name like Obnoxious and not be like full on, like you just gotta go for it. So, yeah. Yeah, totally. That's very good. Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, now you know where you guys can find him. So go ahead and go hit it up. We'll throw the links in the description. I know that, or not the description, pardon me, the comments. Yeah. If you haven't already, go and check him out. We did throw his link tree in the original conversation. We'll throw it in this conversation. No big deal. And like I promised at the end, you tell you guys where you can go and get those naloxone kits, because it is no joke. People really are out there not making it till tomorrow. So if you got to hit people with 1 or 2 or 3, please do. The temperatures are wild. And if you're in Alberta, you're going going to need 2 kits anyways because it's too cold. Keep them warm. So if you're in BC, you can go ahead and pick it up at Shoppers Drug Mart. Any actual pharmacy will let you guys know. They're kind of holding them tight these days, maybe 1 or 2, but you can always pick up 3 or 4. Just hit up them all the time. Calico's in the comments. She's got a couple. I got a couple. Candy Harris is hanging out in over with our group in the community, and she'll also be able to point you in the right direction. For those of you, and I don't mean to make it emotional, but for those of you who have lost somebody, man, listen, the numbers, I can't even say that they've plateaued. I know that, Campbell River specifically got hit really hard there back in September. And Courtney is kind of looking the same, but like, if you guys need anybody, if you just need to chat or text, we got our warm line going on. It's 250-289-3948. We did put it in the group so you guys can check it there. You can just text. It's volunteer ran, but we got it 24/7. It's no big deal. You don't need to, feel like you're out there by yourself. And of course, the national hotline is #988. That is for the US and for Canada. Again, that's #988. You guys, this is Pinecase Podcast, where music is our drug of choice. So, go find it. Thank you. Yeah, till I guess we'll see you next Tuesday.
Put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up, wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance, moving with enough force like army tank pistons. Pray for the strength of Jah to fight resistance. Fight mode, shields up, moving with resilience.
The strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay
The
strong.
further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that the side of the never showed. Deny my place and back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins.
The strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong.